So this is one bed that I had really bad Aminopyralid poisoning last year. I planted some spring oats in the middle of last season because that type of grass will actually suck up the Aminopyralids without being affected by it. So what I did is I planted the spring oats and then I harvested it in the fall and just dumped the oat clippings, you know, in the woods or somewhere away from here. And so far on this lettuce and spinach this season, haven't really seen any signs of it. I haven't really looked real closely, but just at a glance there's really no signs of it. On this bed behind me, this small bed, I had to dig up my tomato plants last year because they were severely poisoned, and I kind of tried to dig up the plants there. I didn't do the oat thing. I didn't plant the grasses to suck it up, so I expected to see some more of it here, and so far so good. It looks like maybe some very slight contaminations, like here and here. There was a potato here, and I dug that one up and planted some oats just in this little section because there seemed to be some pretty bad contamination there. I'm expecting it'll get worse as the plants get bigger. These two back here are pretty well stunted. It's possible they might have a little contamination, but point is, I think the trick with planting some kind of annual grass in your bed is the way to go for getting rid of this stuff. So I used oats because it's just what I had and what would work with the timing that I planted it. And the oats only got maybe 6 or 8 inches tall, but it was enough, and it was thick enough that I cut it and dumped it. So long story short, I think if you got Aminopyralid poisoning in your garden, the best course of action seems to be to just plant some kind of grass, suck it up, and then get rid of the clippings at the end of the season. So I hope that helps, and it's really unfortunate that we have to be so incredibly selective about the compost that we put in our garden. This is why I started my composting toilet, because I knew that was going to be safe. Leaves generally have been pretty safe. I get neighbors' leaves from their trees. I also get coffee grounds from the coffee shop. I get about 10 gallons of coffee grounds a week. So between those 3 sources, leaves, composting toilet, and coffee grounds, hopefully that'll be enough to keep my fertility up. But it's really a shame and a tragedy that we have to be so careful. So I'm here in my compost piles. This was some grass clippings I got, and because I had Aminopyralid poisoning in my previous bout of grass clippings, when I got these, I decided to leave them here, and I planted some beans into them so that I could test before applying it to my garden whether or not it had Aminopyralids. So all these beans grew, and well, the deer came just last night and ate most of the leaves off, but there's still enough leaves to show me that there is indeed Aminopyralid poisoning. You can see how the leaves are cupped like that. That's a perfect symptom, and it looks like it's all over in here on all of them. So I will not be using this stuff. This is just crazy. This stuff is everywhere. This stuff is literally everywhere. I've seen it 300 miles away in some potting mix. This is the second batch that I've got just locally. This crap is nasty. Pardon my mosquito net, but I went to the local public works yesterday to bring it to their attention because I've noticed it on a bunch of city property. I've noticed contamination from Aminopyralids on several city properties. So I finally went down to Public Works to talk to the director there and just basically kindly ask him to use a different product. Well, the way he figured, it's been 9 years since anybody would have sprayed any of the properties where I've seen it. So if that's true, then there's residues from aminopyralids going back 10 years, which would actually make sense because it was about 10 years ago, which would have been 2013 time frame. It was around that 2010 time frame when aminopyralids were being used widely, and it was becoming known that it was causing problems. So even maybe as late as 2012, 2013, they could have sprayed it, and it's still causing problems for my garden, and you can still see the residues where it's been sprayed 9-10 years ago at least. So really, really, really nasty shit. And now I don't know what I'm gonna do with this whole pile. Gonna have to get it out of here.